The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host. You can hear my shows Monday through Friday in Huntsville, Alabama from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN, and in the city of Birmingham, the fastest hour of radio from 10 until 11 on Talk 99.5. With me, as always, Mecca Music, 256today.com CEO. Smart news for smart people. She's smart enough not to dress up in a silly costume, like a Santa suit or something like that.
I like the hobo Santa look. It suits you.
I was sleeping outside the TV station.
That's what it looks like.
They just let me in. So we got a lot to get into. Matt Murphy will be with us from WTN. We also have a party shot about how I'm going to save your Christmas. That's right. We will do just that. It's true. But for right now, let's go ahead and get to the 2-minute warning. Mecca, is this where they get him? It is the question that is asked regularly on this program. Donald Trump, this time barred from the ballot in Colorado, and that is sure to stand. And now every state across the nation will figure out a way to take Donald Trump off the ballot. This is how they finally defeat him. That's right. It is finally time that Donald Trump has gone down, and he is now going to be gone for good, and no one will ever hear from him again. Mecca? Is this where they get him?
I'd say it's not likely. Even in the decision, if you read what they all wrote, they admit that it's unlikely this would stand.
200-something pages of a rationalization that isn't actually a rationalization. I've spoke to legal experts about this, and they've basically said, this is pretty dumb. And the idea behind this is that we would take a guy who is the front-running candidate for the Republican nomination, and we would say, we don't like you. You're off the ballot because of insurrection, something he hasn't been charged with, something he hasn't been convicted of, and something that I would remind a lot of people didn't even happen. So this is a mess.
Well, and not only that, by having the courts get involved in this decision, like who can run, who can't run, you are taking the power away from the people. You're taking away their voice to decide if that's who they want to elect.
But they're doing it for democracy. For democracy's sake, they're removing the front runner and the guy who's polling in front of everybody, including the current president of the United States. We're removing that guy off the ballot under the premise of being on, quote, the right side of history, end quote, and in order to save democracy. And I watched Rachel Maddow of MSNBC say that this isn't that unheard of in democracies. They do it in Brazil. You know where else they do it? You know where else they do it? Ukraine. You know where else they do it? Russia. That's places they remove people from the ballot who displease the ruling elite.
You're quoting Maddow, but a lot of people from both sides have been like, I don't know about this.
I don't know about that. I'm sure you're telling the truth. I'm sure I have not seen people on this other side going, no, it's bad. What I hear is
I mean, look, these were all appointed on the court, and it was still 4-3,
split. Right.
Yeah,
I
it
would
was
agree.
still split.
I would agree with that part. But there is a lot of wishful thinking going on right now of these judges going, yeah, sure, we'll just allow this. Like the Supreme Court's just going to say, okay, fine, let's go ahead and take them off the ballot. And there could be no ramifications for that at all. We would never see like a state like Texas, which is already talking about it, or Alabama ever come and say, well, we'll just take Joe Biden off the ballot. Well, why not? Let's just go ahead and do that. Stop it. Beat him at the ballot box. You already did it once. That's all you got to do. Let's talk about this next issue here that will make it a little harder to beat him at the ballot box. The issue of immigration. Yes, a lot of Border Patrol agents are spending their holiday dealing with a record surge of illegal immigration at the border, where people come in and say, hey, we're not seeking asylum, we're here for jobs. And they go, asylum? Heard you say it, come on in. And they went that route and let them come in under the idea that they're seeking asylum, giving them court dates. One of those court dates that was given, 2031. So just make sure you hit that court date when you come back in about 7 years, and then we'll deal with it right now. This is amazing that now you are seeing the Democratic governor sending National Guard to the border. Now you're seeing Democrats say, we want to deal with this issue. Take this $14 billion. Yes, that's true. They want to spend $14 billion on the border. Processing people faster so they can come in more. I mean, there is such a gulf on this issue The current situation is never going to change, not in our recent future, but we might see an enforcing of the law. There might be a default to we just need to enforce the law, because as of right now, that's not even happening.
Well, listen, you're talking about this Gulf. I don't think so. You see these big city Democratic mayors who are like, hey, something needs to be done. I mean, especially with the busing, which has been very controversial, but has kind of spread the problem out. And I would add, that's just a fraction of the people that are coming into the Texas, Arizona.
That's a show. That's a show. They're doing a show. They're saying, okay, well, let's take these people and fly them up there so the Democrat mayors come out and scream. But if you talk to members of Congress, they're mad about what Texas is doing. And you talk, they don't want to see the wall built 10 foot higher. They don't want to see it filled in. They don't want to see people turned out and pushed back. That is not the attitude of the people in Congress. Yes, the mayors who are having to deal with it, they're pissed because the federal government isn't allocating money to that. And the Republicans in Congress, you're insane if you allocate money to this. They've created this issue. Let it burn, because that's the only way you're going to get any difference.
Wait, what about what's working in the Senate right now tied to the Ukraine funding?
Okay, get it through the House. Get it through the Republican House. I mean, the thing working through the Senate is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We'll put $14 billion or whatever, but a majority of it is for judges and lawyers in order to speed the process up. That's not about stopping it. It's about making it easier.
But once it gets to the House, obviously adjustments will be made, right?
Right, and then it goes back and dies.
Well, okay.
Okay, there is a gulf.
I think, listen, but I agree, there's a gulf, but I think that is more.
In between that gulf, millions of illegal immigrants are walking.
I think that's a good one.
That's what's
but
happening.
I think there's more. I think there's more of an understanding on both sides that this is an issue that needs to be addressed.
The far left and the far right are very far on this, and they control the parties. And I'm telling you, it's just the case. I mean, that is the case right now. You're not going to see. Look, Joe Biden bucked his party on Israel, and he's paying for it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to do it on immigration. This issue is the only thing you can hope for, and the only thing people should be advocating for, is the enforcement of the current law. Because until that happens, you're not going to see anything.
Well, that's what a lot of people are advocating for.
Not enough.
Even Democrats.
Not enough. Not enough. All right, let's talk about something locally. I'm going to be a Grinch here, but I guess I will be. In the recent years, we've decided in the state of Alabama to raise an online sales tax in order to get money that was going off into the ether because Alabama is one of the states not taxing. Well, we went after that money and said, give us that money now, about 8%. Now some cities are saying, well, it's still unfair for us because we have a higher tax rate than the 8% online tax rate. So we want it to raise to about 9.5. You're seeing Chris England of Tuscaloosa, he's a Democrat in the legislature, say, let's raise it to 9.5% in order to maybe level some things in some of the higher tax cities. I've talked to Republican elected officials and they said, no, we're not going to be doing that right now. The money coming in is a lot. Don't get me wrong. This has been a huge windfall for the state. That's one of the reasons why they've collected more revenue than they have in a long time.
Exactly.
And that online sales tax has actually helped blunt how much we would be losing if everything was just status quo. If we had the same budgeting process and tax collection process we had 10 years ago, today there'd be a massive problem. The online sales tax collection has been a godsend. That's why he wants to raise it. But there is zero chance in 2024 that Republicans are going to go, yeah, let's raise this tax about 20%.
You're absolutely right. It's not going to happen. But he is basically on more money for education fund. And like you said, some of the brick and mortar stores are saying, hey, this isn't fair to us. They're still lower priced due to the tax. And so he's making some valid points nonetheless. Zero chance.
And another problem they have is not enough of it is going to go to education. So if they did do this, the teachers would come out and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Money, please. I mean, that would be a bit of a problem.
Just a whole new one.
Yeah, but they're going, and that's just another issue that's going to create itself as well. As those brick and mortar stores, what is that? Is that the place I go to look at something before I order it online? Because that's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about. They're saying don't do that. And I'm
I still like going.
I do too. I believe in going to brick and mortar stores more so than anything else because the money stays in your community. So I think that's exactly what you should do. That's just a little joke there. Let's move on and talk about gambling. This is not a joke. I mean, it kind of is, because we've got a lot of people talking about Medicaid expansion and talking about school choice in the issue of gambling. But we also have guys like State Senator Arthur Orr. We talked about it a little last week, but let's talk about it again here because I think there's been some more clarity here. Probably not going to happen. This is a situation where you're going to have to do a couple of things to make this happen. One, you're going to have to see a bunch of legislators go, gambling? Sure. What kind? And then them all go, that kind. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. And all agree and then go, hey, where should that money go? Hamas? Sure. Let's go ahead and do that. No. But you could send that money to anything. But same issue as we're talking about with the online sales tax. How much does education get? Is there going to be scholarships? Are we going to see what's going to happen with this money? School choice, Medicaid, etc. Democrats want Medicaid, and they want to trade gambling for it. But the problem is, those are both things Democrats want. I mean, you're not trading. It's like, if you give us this, you can also give us this.
Like, you've skipped over like a whole portion of where
like
everybody has
9,000
to.
things
Yeah,
happening.
Exactly. Everything that has to happen before you decide where
I
the
did
money
actually.
goes.
I said. Hold on. I said, oh, they're all going to agree on the same thing.
You glossed over it too much because that is a huge
it's really
step
the
to
only
get
point.
over.
It's the only point.
It's exactly. And if you're a betting man,
I love gambling.
You are. I mean, it's a good bet that the Alabama legislature is not going to be able to pass a comprehensive gaming bill. It's just
no. And look, I think one day maybe we pass a lottery and just tell the Puerto Ricans to do whatever they want. I mean, that's. I mean,
well, that would pass. And you always say like, oh, you can give the money to anything. I think for lottery, yes. Stop saying that. I think for lottery, yes. But I don't think. I think lottery's a slam dunk. I think there's still some people who have reservations about bringing casino-style gambling into Alabama.
Almost sounds like a joke, but I know it wasn't. The idea here is that there are people that have a lot of reservations about this because you are looking at all these different players that are involved, the illegal gamblers, the Porch Creek Indians, the people that might want to come at Harrah's or whatever that want to come in and put up a casino. You have the people that are local that would prefer to keep those big people out.
And out-of-state interests who don't want us to have gambling.
Yeah, correct. But I mean, forget about that. The only thing that matters is getting it out of the legislature. You get it out of the legislature no matter what you want, it will pass. The money could go to the North Pole. It doesn't matter.
I like that better.
Yes, and I'm telling you, you could pass it. All you have to do is get out of the legislature. But where's the money go? Because once you agree on what types of gambling we're having, like we're going to have two types of gambling. You're going to be able to play blackjack and Russian roulette. Those are the two things you're going to be allowed to play, and that's it. Okay, everyone agrees. Where does it go? A lot of money in that. And where does that go? I mean, you can only play it for a short time, though. Stop. The point is this: where does the money go? Does it go to Medicaid expansion? Does it go to school choice? Does it go to education? Does it go to these things? And then you get all the players in again, and then the fight starts again. So you have to agree what types of gambling you're going to have, and then the funding. That's two legislative fights that I don't think they could solve. So
I stopped listening at Russian roulette.
Okay, sorry, Hamas. All right, well, thank you very much for being here. When we come back, Matt Murphy will be with us from WTN. We'll talk to him about some of the stuff going on in Alabama and beyond. Stay tuned.
Because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about them today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you.
Unsafe, intelligent fitness programming. Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improve range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Recover Now is a national campaign aimed at the education and awareness of the devastating effects of opioid and heroin abuse and curbing drug and alcohol addiction in the United States. Recover Now is sponsored by treatment facilities nationwide. Many of them have been where you are, and they want to help by spreading a message of hope and recovery. They're working hand in hand with major insurance companies nationwide that can help you or a loved one get clean in 7 to 30 days. Recover Now is embarking on a national outreach campaign on TV and radio to promote anti-addiction messages. So if you, a loved one, or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, do not wait. A new life for you could be 30 days away. Call us right now. I promise this call can change your life. Sponsored by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
Call 855-723-6903.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I'm Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca Music. Our guest this week, legendary Alabama talk show host Matt Murphy, now with WTN in Nashville, Tennessee. And we appreciate him taking the time to join us, talk about stuff going on around the nation and in the state of Alabama, which he keeps up on very closely. He's on my Birmingham show regularly. Matt, let's talk first about the biggest issue facing the nation, the world, the universe. I don't know. Donald Trump may not be on the ballot in the state of Colorado, a state that has 7 Democrat Supreme Court justices and 0 Republican ones. So it sounds like that state's really in play. They're removing him from the ballot in a 4-3 decision. And I'm told by talking heads that this could ripple across the country, crippling Donald Trump's campaign. Your thoughts?
Well, it's nonsense. It's a fantasy land that liberals have been living in since 2015. Everything's the next thing that's going to get Donald Trump. And they continue to amp themselves up, believing that the next big thing is the big thing that's finally going to get him. I mean, after this, what do? You know, put him on a spaceship and try to shoot him into the sun? I don't know where you go from here once the Supreme Court shoots this theory of theirs down, that this was actually an insurrection that we all saw wasn't an insurrection on January 6th. But, you know, don't let the fact that there's no court ruling in play dissuade you from the idea that justices on the Colorado Supreme Court can just unilaterally make a decision without a trial, without a defense, as to the nature of what happened on January 6th, according to them, and can determine the future presidency for all of us as a result. It's nonsense. It's never going anywhere. I think most rational people recognize that. It is a fantasy land for liberal talking heads.
All right, I got 2 questions for you. Question number 1, will a single Republican state attempt to remove Joe Biden from the ballot in response to this?
No, because Republicans and by extension conservatives tend to be largely adults when it comes to this type of thing. And they believe in the rule of law. I mean, the big difference, and you and I have talked about this a lot, Dale, the big difference between Republicans and Democrats aren't that both teams want to win for their own teammates or for their own candidates. It's that one side believes in the rule of law and the other side believes in exploiting the rule of law any chance they get for their own political purposes. So I think Republicans tend to believe in the rule of law a little more so than Democrats, even when they feel like they might be able to exploit it. So, no, I don't think any Republican states are doing any of this.
Does that change if the Supreme Court, I don't know, has like a series of strokes and decides to allow this to stand?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. If the Supreme Court determines that states are per their reading of the Constitution allowed to do this, well, then that changes the rule of law, right? And so, by that standard, yes, it would create chaos across the United States of America, where states determine by their own standards and value systems which candidates may or which candidates may not be on the ballot. It would create absolute chaos for presidential elections.
Matt, it would obviously, you're talking about the chaos and stuff, but talk about the reaction from Republicans, from Trump. Is this something they can use to say, hey, the other side is taking away your right to a voice?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't think there's any question that this gives Donald Trump, this gives gravity to something that he's been claiming for the last, 5 years. I mean, he's been claiming that liberals can't beat him in the arena of ideas, so they choose to beat him by politically persecuting him, and in this case, persecuting him in very liberal courts around the United States. So this gives weight to the argument that he's been making all along. See, I told you so. They cannot beat me at the ballot box. They stole it in 2020. This would be Trump's words, not mine. They stole it in 2020, and now they're trying to steal it even before they allow you to vote because they know you're wise to them, and you'll vote for me above Joe Biden. So absolutely he's going to use this, and it's going to benefit him, as most of these types of things do.
To paraphrase, Trump's doing backflips right now. He's absolutely ecstatic about this. If he could do a backflip, he'd be doing them right now. Matt, let's move on and talk about gambling here in the state. You covered this in the state of Alabama for a long time. We've had people go to jail. We've had people threatened. We've had people bribed here in the state of Alabama over the issue of gambling. We've allowed different facilities to operate. We've shut down other facilities who were operating in gambling at this time. It has been an utter disaster in this state. There's a lot of talk about gambling and maybe getting to an expansion of Medicaid or school choice or anything like this. In your experience dealing with the state of Alabama and gambling, can the legislature ever pass something that can get out of both chambers and get before the people?
Boy, ever's a long time, so I don't know that I would say that. Here's the sticking point, at least it's been my experience over the last 25 years, the sticking point in Alabama politics and gambling. It's not the conservatives are sticks in the mud and they don't want any forms of gambling. They've way gotten over that. They want the money. The problem is the Porch Bandit Creek Indians, right? And here's what I mean. I don't have anything against them, but they have a special designation on their side. They already have gambling on their Porch Creek properties, if you will, and I'm using air quotes because there's a very loose definition of what constitutes creek land in the state of Alabama. That said, they want special designation if they're going to, quote unquote, allow this to move forward, and they're perfectly willing to spend a lot of money to prevent it going forward in terms of campaign donations and the like because they currently have a monopoly, and they want to kind of keep that, and they have the federal government on their side. So it's the Porch Bandit Creek Indians that stymie this deal every time it happens. Now, I understand there are other players and other bad guys in the process, but I think that's what separates Alabama from other states that have managed to get some form of gambling in their state, is they don't have that type of dynamic going on.
Matt, I would say there's, like you said, a lot of various players who have stood against that, and everybody wanting a piece of the pie and being involved in it. But let's talk about this effort right now. A lot of people are saying it's different this time because the speaker is in favor of it, which is different.
It's part of it.
Yeah, part of it. And also, they're focusing on the regulation aspect. Like, we need to regulate this to get this illegal operations out of here. What do you think that could be the path forward?
Well, I mean, obviously, I've heard this before too, Mecca, and I'm not dismissing that this time around it might be different and it might have some political heft to it that hasn't been present in the past, but it's always a supported activity until we get to the details of the bills. And we've seen these things get to the point where the bill is drafted and it's in committee, and then when people start writing the bill, everyone says they want clean gambling. But no one really wants clean gambling because that's the wild, wild west. So anytime you start putting restrictions or parameters on it, people say, oh, they're picking winners and losers. Why are they picking winners and losers? Well, the other option is to have a casino on every corner if that's what the market wants to bear. So you have to find some sort of middle ground. Maybe they've done that in this legislation. I haven't seen any of the specifics, but we've gotten to the finish line before only to have defeat snatched from the jaws of victory.
Well, I have had one legislator say to me, it's odd that other legislators and people are talking about this so much when there is no bill yet. There has been no final bill, even put forth. So it hasn't happened yet. I'm sure we will all get a chance to review it later.
Matt, let me ask you this question here before we get you out of here. If there was a casino on every corner, would you come down and spend Christmas in Alabama with me at a casino?
Dale, it would not take a casino for me to come spend Christmas with you in Alabama. I'll come anytime, day or night, just to be by your side, and you'll get the glow from your aura.
Okay, last question here for real serious. We were discussing immigration, and we were discussing the gulf between the far right, the far left, which means a gulf between the two parties. And in between, millions of immigrants are entering the country every month and coming in, or not every month, about 500,000 every month. Let's not get crazy, only 500,000 every month. Is there any way the legislature in Alabama is sort of on gambling? It's like the Congress on the issue of immigration. Everybody says they want to do something, but they can't agree on what it is. Is there any way that gulf gets closed anytime soon?
Well, I think conservatives, libertarians, whatever your political affiliation, we need to do a better job distinguishing our immigration policy and border security. The left has done a really good job of conflating those two things, making border security and immigration policy the same thing. It's how Karine Jean-Pierre gets out of the answer every time when she's asked about it in her press conferences. So we need to distinguish what's different between border security and what our new immigration policies ought to be. If we do that, maybe we move the ball forward and get some border security in place.
There we go. Matt Murphy, WTN. Thank you very much for being here. Merry Christmas, Matt. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you sometime next
Merry
year.
Christmas.
Bah humbug to Mecca Music because she's out of here. The show and the year gets better. I mean, there's no question about it. We'll be right back. It's Alabama Politics this week.
Safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improve range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to Iron Tribe Fitness.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for my friends at University Kia. Now look, I love Kias. I've driven plenty of them. I used to have a Kia Sportage. When my son was born, my wife said, no, we got to get ourselves one of these big SUVs. The Telluride from University Kia is an absolutely amazing vehicle. You get it at a great price, but you get everything at University Kia at a great price. Learn more about it today. Head on over to universitykia.com. Find the perfect vehicle for you.
Doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics this week. I am Dale Jackson. Let me give you a quick word of advice before we get to the parting shot. Head on over to yellowhammernews.com. Sign up for my email blast, the 7 things you should be talking about today. And even on days when I'm not on the radio, you still get the 7 things you should be talking about today by heading on over to yellowhammernews.com and checking out that great website. Lots of great information about stuff going on in the great state of Alabama, so please go check that out today, yellowhammernews.com. All right, let's get to the parting shot. This week, the party shot is going to be directed at you. I'm going to allow me to save Christmas for you. Here's what I've learned over the last couple of years at Christmas, and maybe it's because of my job, maybe it's not, but people want to talk politics at the dinner table while people are opening presents, standing around the eggnog all the time. Just do this. Politely decline. That's all you need to do. You want to drive somebody crazy? Listen to their entire political rant, whether it's from the left or the right, and just say something along the lines of, hey, that's a pretty good opinion. We should talk about it some other time. and it will infuriate them and drive them crazy, but it will save your sanity. This is basically what I try to do at every family gathering I go to, sometimes successful, sometimes not. But there is no reason to get all bogged down in stupid politics. Remember, you're smarter and better than everybody else, so why would you listen to anyone else during Christmas? At least that's what I think. So you should think that as well, and that is how you will get through Christmas. That's how I can help you save Christmas. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching Alabama Politics this week. We'll be back next week. Have a happy New Year. I guess we're not going to be quite there yet. Anyway, have a Merry Christmas. We'll do the rest of that stuff later. It's Alabama Politics this week.